Hello guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm switching up the content a little bit. I've been making so many tracks from scratch lately in these videos, but this time I already made something and I'm gonna show you exactly how I made it. I uploaded a little sneak peek of this to my Instagram story and an overwhelming majority of you guys wanted to see how I made this track, so here we are. Before we get into the video, a quick thank you to today's video sponsor, Cymatics. They sent me their new plugin Diablo. I'll talk about it a little bit more later, but there's a free version of Diablo. It's called Diablo Lite, so if you want to get that, there's a link in the description as well as in the comments. So go check it out. Let's get right into it. So now let me show you how this track sounds. And I know the acapella is really bad in the beginning. I know.
I don't wanna know the when. Sorry for what I do. Sorry, but I really like you. Sorry for how, sorry for what I do. Sorry, but I really like you. I don't wanna say goodbye, cause I really like you, don't you notice? I don't wanna know the why, cause I really need you, baby, love me. I don't wanna say goodbye, cause I really like you, don't you notice? I don't wanna know the when, cause I really like you, don't you notice?
So we'll start off over here from the very beginning of the track and we'll start from top to bottom. We have these very simple chords. So this is the Chords Crackle preset from my new Vital Bank, link in the description. If you guys want an in-depth video of how I make my chords, you can find that right here or here. I don't know which one it is. But very, very simple, not a lot of notes going on. And it's a very, very calm sound, which I really, really like. And then down here, we have this little pluck thing. It's pretty quiet. This is the Pluck Dreamy preset from the Vital Sound Bank. And together, they just sound really nice. Very calm, very peaceful vibe. And then we have this acapella, of course.
I don't wanna know the when.
Oh, we have a couple of automations here that control the reverb and the delay of the acapella and stuff like that.
I don't wanna know the when. Sorry for what I do. Sorry, but I really like you.
Yeah, this acapella is kind of meh, but it sounds alright. So for the processing, we have this Spitfish, which is a free de-esser. It's a very nice plugin. A little bit of extra compression. Not that the acapella needs it, but I always add OTT to everything. Then we have a little bit of Diablo, which has a ton of knobs in it. I have a little bit of heat and a little bit of clip. So the heat is just like saturation and the clip is a soft or a hard clipper. So I set it to a soft clipper to give a little bit of distortion and a little bit of saturation. Then we have an EQ that looks like this. Then we have a little bit of reverb, some delay, an EQ that looks like this, another EQ, and another reverb. A little bit further down the line, we have a little snap. It's just a regular snap from Atmos, which I also added Diablo to and a little bit of reverb. I made it a little bit wider inside of Diablo. I also added some body, which is like compression. And then this knob, Sizzle. I ended up using this knob a ton. I don't know like what it does. It adds like a little bit of white noise and stuff. I don't know, it's really cool. And down here we have two loops from the Guitar Sessions pack. To those I added a little bit of Diablo, some reverb, and a Fruity Free filter. This time in Diablo I added some punch, which is basically like a transient shaper, so it just becomes more punchy. A little bit of compression, saturation, some sizzle again. I love the sizzle. And I just made them a little bit wider. And then leading up into this like build up kind of bridge section, I have a little bit of Endless Smile on the master.
I really like you. I don't wanna say.
And then everything just cuts down here, including the Endless Smile.
I really like you. I don't wanna say goodbye, cause I really like you, don't you notice?
I really, really like this part. So we have some impacts here. And an ambient shot. Ambient shot 9 G sharp, the one I always use in every track. The drone again, of course. No major effects or anything on those. And then we have two Arps. The Arp 3C, 128 BPM, the Arp that I always use. These are a lot faster originally, and they sound kind of like stretched and like ugly, but you can't hear it in the full mix. They just have like a little bit of cutoff and some reverb on them. And then here I added a vocoder to the vocal. And I had to slice it up because it was a little bit dirty like here. Like, you don't want that. Even though if you can't hear it really, it's still gonna like mud up the mix a little bit. Yeah, you just want to make it as clean as possible. I use Manipulator to do my vocoders nowadays. I really like how the vocoder sounds in Manipulator, and it's really easy to set up. Using a vocoder with an acapella is like, it's something that I've always liked to do. In addition to all these effects and the vocoder, we have some new instruments over here. Starting off with this lead over here. It obviously has like a cutoff filter on it. It's the lead distorted pop preset. By the way, I only used Vital for this project, which is a free synth. But yeah, that just has a cutoff filter on it and a little bit of reverb. And it's kind of introducing the drop melody that's about to come in the drop, obviously. And then we have this chord pattern. First preset there is the Chords Wow 03, and together with that we have Chords Old, which just gives it this like gritty kind of texture. And of course we have a Moody slidey bass. This is the Moody slidey bass 4. There's 5 Moody slidey basses in the Vital preset pack. And just to be clear, a lot of people have been asking, this bank works with the free version of Vital. So yeah, just wanna clear that up. And here we have this little like atmospheric melody kind of thing. So this is a sample. It's one of the ambient shots, and I've just enabled the envelope here in the volume. Brought everything down to 0 except for hold. And down here in the effects section, we have this interesting thing. Cool, right? So this is one of the cut licks from the Guitar Sessions pack. So that has a filter on it, an EQ, some fruity flanger to give it that like cool texture, some reverb, and then it has 2 delays, one really quick delay and one a little bit slower delay. And all of these things together just create such a cool vibe, I think. And then over here we have some build-up drums, so they're really quiet in the background. These actually have a little bit of processing on them. We have quite a bit of Diablo to get some more punch, aka some more transients in the snare. We have this boost knob with the snare preset. Little bit of compression, little bit of saturation. The sizzle, again, I love the sizzle. It just brings like some really nice white noise to it. We also have a reverb that I turned off. I don't know why I added reverb to the snares. It's kind of weird. We also have a sound geyser, very underrated on snares. And then we have an EQ just to remove everything below the bass frequencies. Diablo actually makes a huge difference here, even though the snares are like in super low volume. Then we just have some drop claps. And then in terms of up sweeps, we just have this reversed down lifter. As well as an ambient shot. By the way, if you enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up. It greatly helps me out. Thank you. And the little trick here to this build-up is the endless smile. It introduces some more high frequencies and like reverb and stuff like that, and it just makes it sound really good. So that's everything for the build-up. Now we get to the drop. So first off, right before the drop, we have these little percussions here. Just helps to have something here. Sounds pretty good, all quiet as well. But you definitely want like some kind of hit there. It just helps to like glue the parts together, I guess. But yeah, and we also take all the automations down, all the reverb, the endless smile, everything like that on the vocal and all of the instruments. Because I want everything to die down here, right? I want it to be completely quiet and just let the vocal do its thing. So the drums sound like this. So we have the kick that I've been starting to use a ton lately. It's from the new sample pack that's not out yet. And then we just have a clap and a snare. And then on this pattern we have a ride. And this ride actually has some kickstart on it. So it's just contributing with like some high end, like some of that fuzziness, I guess. And that's like a completely different sound compared to just having a ride hitting on every single bar, you know? And here we have the first part of the lead. This lead consists of 3 sounds. First one being this pluck modern lead. Then we have the lead send. And then we have the lead plucky. Processing wise, these have quite a lot of distortion to them. Just makes them bigger. They get a totally different texture to them with a lot of OTT, which really glues the layers together. And we also have a slight boost in the mids and a slight boost in the highs. So this automation is for the reverb that is automated, obviously. It just gives a little upsweep every 4 beats. Helps to kind of carry that energy a little bit. And then here, the creme de la creme, boys and girls, we have the guitar that I recorded earlier today. It sounds really, really good, I have to say. That little wow wow on the end here. Woo! I'm a great guitar player. So this is what the guitar sounds like without any effects. It's already distorting a little bit because I had the input volume a little bit too high when I recorded it. I went ahead and added some more distortion anyway, because distortion, good. No distortion, bad. Then we have some OTT. Take note of the high and mid knobs here. I increased those a little bit, as well as the upwards compression and the downwards compression. This makes it super tight. And then we have some Diablo again. I added a little bit of punch for those transients. Quite a lot of saturation with the blaze mode. A little bit of that sizzle. And some soft clip distortion. Again, distortion good. No distortion, bad. Then a much needed EQ that looks like this. Takes away a lot of the mids and all of the lows. We do not want any of those. That was a rhyme, goddamn. Didn't even plan that. Then we have some Valhalla vintage verb. When you're adding reverb to leads or chords or whatever, you want to make sure that you aren't adding reverb to the low frequencies. That's how you guarantee a muddy mix. So you want to make sure that you have a low cut, controls low frequencies of the reverb output. Like, you don't want those low frequencies. Next up, we have this super cool bass pattern. We have the bass deep and the bass analog contra, one of my favorite presets from the Vital Bank. And these are pumping all of the time, right? Next preset, the bass hard 07, is not. This has a different pattern to it. As well does the bass punchy sub. So these together are kind of working to create the whole vibe for the bass. Processing wise, Diablo OTT EQ. In this track, there's no separate sub bass, so went kind of lazy on the basses, but it sounds really good. It doesn't really need a lot of processing. We also have another bass layer down here, actually. This is the first hit preset. Obviously, I've removed all of the low frequencies with an EQ, and that's it for processing on this one. It's too hot in here, man. Alright, so down here we have the chords. First preset is the pluck game 02. Kind of this bit crushed, facey kind of sound. And then we have the pluck smooth. So it's a very like non-aggressive sound. It's not that like in your face. It's just kind of in the background filling things out. The only thing we have on there is an EQ to remove all of the low frequencies and a kickstart. That's it. And then we have this chord pattern to kind of complement the other chords. First preset, chord simple 01. Second preset, chords wow 03. So now we really have the fundamentals of the drop down. Over here, the lead stops playing and I replaced it with this vocal. It has a little altar boy on it to take the formant down. All of my favorite plugins, by the way, like little altar boy, is also linked down in the description if you want to check them out. A ton of distortion, some OTT, an EQ to remove all of that low end, because again, you do not want that. And quite a lot of reverb. So now we get to all of the good stuff down here, all of the things that are kind of there to fill out the drop, to make everything sound a little bit more interesting. We have an exhaust, a white noise, and an ambient shot. And we also have these 3 Arps. And again, they're just there to like fill the space out and just make the drop sound better. And since they already have this sort of like pumping vibe to them, again, they sound very stretched. You can't hear it in the mix, don't worry about it. But yeah, they really have this like pumping sort of, which really helps to bring more of that energy into this drop, which is it really needs that, because it's 100 BPM. It's not very fast paced, but it still feels kind of energetic, partly because of the pumping bass and because of these supporting atmospheric elements, I guess you can call them. Now, a lot of you people have been asking me how I mix my tracks. I always mix on the go. I don't do like a final mix down at the end of the track or anything. As you can see, everything is pretty low in volume. And there's not really any secrets to it. I think the main thing to take away if you're a beginner or even intermediate, take the volumes down. Other than that, make sure to EQ everything, especially chords, leads, and things like that don't need that low end. Just take it away. Otherwise, it can get muddy really quickly. So I would definitely say that those are the most important things. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little walkthrough of this project of mine. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, it really helps me out. And big thanks, of course, to Cymatics for sponsoring this video. If you want to check out Diablo, like I said before, they have a free version called Diablo Lite. It's linked down in the description as well as in a pinned comment. And of course, if you want to get all of the sounds that I use to produce this, mhmusic.com, the absolute best way to support the channel by far. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye bye.